Well, with us now from Capitol Hill is our CBN News political correspondent, David Brody. And David, there's a lot of talk that the poisoned political climate there is at least partly responsible for this attack. Do you think this tragedy will somehow change that?
Gordon, I don't think so. You know, I've been up here now close to 15 years, and, you know, remember Gabby Gifford 6 years ago, and actually the political climate got worse after that shooting, not better. I don't really expect anything new to change here, Gordon. And, you know, let's remember, we heard a lot of flowery statements yesterday from Paul Ryan and Nancy Pelosi. When I say flowery, I'm not demeaning it at all, but I'm simply saying that that's nice for one day, but what about the other 364 days? And I think that's the concern up here on the Hill. And look, Gordon, I've covered the topics and issues up here for a very long time now, and I can tell you that this really is a battle for our culture. There are conservative Republicans up here and conservatives overall that are battling for the culture. There are liberals on the other side who want to move our country in a certain direction, and that's the cauldron. Then you bring Donald Trump into the mix, who tells it like it is, throws political correctness out the window, and it's a very volatile poison out there. I say poison, a very volatile solution that is obviously turning into what we saw yesterday.
Well, this shooter was clearly targeting Republicans. Are they concerned about the threat to their safety?
Well, you know, I heard Eric mention that, in essence, what are they going to do? They got to move on. And that is true. I will say there was a senator, and I won't give the name out, but a senator's office told me this morning specifically that they have seen the number of threats to their office go up considerably in the last few months. And there is talk here on Capitol Hill about doing something. But I think that's the key word. What is the something? And there's been even talk about dipping into campaign funds. In other words, they'd obviously have to change the laws up here on Capitol Hill about that, but congressmen dipping into their campaign funds to provide security detail for them. So that's one of a myriad of suggestions up here, but nothing with traction so far yet, Gordon.
Okay. There's also talk about a concealed carry legislation that would allow them to bear arms within D.C. Will that happen?
Not much traction on that either. Now there is a bill here on the House side by Georgia Congressman Barry Loudermilk, who was at the congressional baseball practice yesterday. He has introduced that concealed carry legislation, and basically what they're trying to do with that legislation, and there's been companion legislation on the Senate side as well, which means that if you have a concealed carry permit in the state that you're from, that you would come to D.C. and be allowed to have a concealed carry permit here in D.C. as well. It wouldn't be for all members of Congress, just for those that already have it. But once again, that's been tried here for years. It hasn't gone anywhere. I don't necessarily expect that to go much further up here as well.
Well, let's go back to the poisoned atmosphere. There's a report, a leak, that the special counsel may investigate Trump for obstruction of justice. How do you think the White House will respond?
Well, the White House has put themselves in a position where all comments will come from the lawyer in the case, Trump's main lawyer. Having said that, there are comments always coming from Donald Trump's Twitter feed. And as a matter of fact, this just coming out this morning, I'll read it to you. This is Donald Trump saying, "You are witnessing the greatest witch hunt in American political history, led by some very bad and conflicted people." So, look, this is Donald Trump fighting back. That's what he does. Look, I don't think there's any question here that Donald Trump intended to make sure his name was cleared. I mean, he'll be the first one to admit that. He wanted his name cleared. The question is, was there intent to obstruct justice? And, of course, that's a much higher bar, and we go into a lot of legal issues. I will say this. The lawyers for the Trump White House are basically a bit concerned about the fact that Robert Mueller has, in essence, hired a lot of folks in his lawyer team with Democrat ties, whether it be financial or otherwise, and that has them a bit up at night.
Well, I frankly don't think it's going to go anywhere. Alan Dershowitz has already come out to say it's absolutely impossible for the president to obstruct justice at the federal level. The FBI reports to him, the Justice Department reports to him. And in any case, he can always end any investigation by pardoning anyone involved in it. So you do sort of scratch your head from a legal standpoint. What are they doing? But Mueller clearly has a dream team, and it looks like we're going to be in for a long, long investigation. Many headlines to come. Well, David, thank you. Thank you for your insight.